What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and PlayStation is currently in a very strange spot. They just released their entire financial report for the last year and talked about their plans for the future. And in this, they very clearly state they're talking about the fact that a lot of people are unsubscribing from PlayStation Plus, and they're even saying the fact that the PlayStation 5 is currently underselling of what they want it to be, but they have a plan. Now, I want to actually go over their entire financial report because it's really kind of spelling out the future of PlayStation, and parts of this certainly get me hyped. Now, please, if you could, give this video a giant thumbs up and share with your friends. Now, let's dive into this. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Surfshark. Babe? Babe?
I'm in the closet.
What?
I'm in the closet.
Katie, what are you doing in the closet?
Protecting my browser history.
Babe, sitting in the closet is not going to protect your browser history. But if you do want to do that, if you need a little bit of extra safety, that's why today's sponsor is Surfshark. Now, what does this service actually do? What is Surfshark? It essentially unlocks the capabilities of the internet. Now, first and foremost, it allows you to select a region whenever you're online. So you can just straight up say that you're in Japan or Korea or London. Now, why would you want to do that? Because it makes streaming services a heck of a lot more awesome. But additionally, I appreciate the privacy that this VPN creates. Surfshark just straight up lets you hide a lot of your service data. It lets you go and do research or look at video games and stuff, and it doesn't get served as ads all over the place later. These companies are constantly trying to get your data, and Surfshark is here to protect you without sitting in the closet. Surfshark can be easily used as either a browser add-on or also just an app on your phone, so you have this protection even while on the go. If you want to try this for yourself, Surfshark gave this very big coupon code just put here at the bottom, which is surfshark.deals/DCG. If you use this, it gives you 83% off plus 3 additional months of the service. Once you have it, you're going to wonder how the heck you browsed without it. Alright, so late last night, Sony released these big financial reports all about what's been happening for the last year, and some of it's good, some of it's bad. On the surface, I'm kind of surprised by the fact that the PlayStation 5 is still just having this chip shortage. Like, obviously it is a worldwide issue, but it's still just bonkers that despite the fact that they're pumping so much money into constructing and building these chips as fast as possible, the PlayStation 5 cannot keep up with demand. Now, let's take a look at this. Here is an article over on Forbes.com sort of explaining the situation, because according to Sony, while they did miss their target sales numbers, they're promising that soon you're going to find PlayStation 5s everywhere. Now, here's what's up. Basically, they wanted to try and sell about 25 million PlayStation 5s this up till now, and they missed that by 3.3 million. Now, this is predominantly just because of that shortage of components. Everybody understands that people want the PlayStation 5, whether it is the physical disc version or the digital version. The hype around the PlayStation 5 is incredibly intense. Like, I seriously see pretty much the top comment on every video talking about PlayStation news is you guys saying, man, the PS5 looks great. I sure hope I can find it someday. So what Sony is promising inside their financial reports is they're trying to increase the supply exponentially so that they can finally sell about 18 million consoles for this next fiscal year. This is a big leap over what we've had so far. They're pretty much saying that they want to try and double the entire console sales of this first 2 years or this first year and a half. They're trying to double it in the next 12 months. Now, it sounds like the whole point is they want to make it where even if it's not easy to get the console, you will find them on store shelves. You're finally going to be able to catch up. Now we get to the first part that's truly negative news, which is the fact that apparently people are unsubscribing from PlayStation Plus. The number of people who have it has dropped year over year. They had 47.4 million, which is what they have right now, and originally they had 47.6 million in March 2021, which is strange because there is more people that are buying PlayStation 4s and buying PlayStation 5s. PlayStation Plus is obviously part of both these consoles, but for some reason, despite the fact that there's, 110 million, how many hundreds of million of people have a PlayStation 4 right now, and now there's this extra 20 million people that have the PlayStation 5. It's really hitting this fever pitch of hype, and yet for some reason, people are just not playing online games. Now, my theory about this is predominantly based on the fact that there's just been less big, giant, AAA freaking multiplayer games released on the PlayStation over the course of this last year. It's not that they're falling behind or anything like that, but like truly sit down and think, what are people going to have it for? Like Final Fantasy XIV had some good expansions. That's only on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 and PC. But like, I can't think of like a big, huge must-play first-person shooter, especially not something like freaking Battlefield 2042. I think that number went down, which isn't even a full % drop. It's fascinating that it dropped at all, but it sounds like Sony is already trying to figure out how to shift, how to accommodate, how to do better, even if players are currently playing less. And here's their plan. A $35 billion company-wide investment merger and acquisition joint business growth. Now, this is business speak that basically means we are investing in ourselves. Instead of trying to, expand, instead of trying to grab up other companies, or instead of trying to attack other companies or bash people about with a big old paycheck, it sounds like Sony's basic goal with the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4 is to make their own stuff more solidified. They said straight up right here, like right now, the season of growth through studio acquisition is over. Hi there, this is Max from the future, and I'm currently editing this video, and I realized I completely screwed up that sentence. Part of this $35 billion chunk of the budget is enabling them to buy new studios, including possibly those rumors of them scooping up Square Enix, or maybe something even bigger and better. Now, to me, this seems like a benefit. In general, I just think it's cool, the idea of getting more PlayStation games, just because I'm very hyped to game on the platform. But additionally, I think that this means that something extra juicy could be happening very, very soon. Okay, back to Max from the past. They want to hire more talented people to work on the games that people know most. I think that PlayStation is still in this spot where everybody likes the games that are coming out. People just want the games to come out faster. I do see some viral tweets, which I don't want to show because sometimes these people get a lot of freaking hate, but people say, I love PlayStation, I love what PlayStation's doing, I love my PlayStation exclusives, but holy heck do they come out too slowly. And sometimes I do agree with that. It's weird that PlayStation is still trying to tinker with whatever Last of Us Factions is going to be. We still haven't seen Infamous come back. There's rumors of Infamous 3 is very deep in development. We still haven't seen that. We still don't know if we're ever going to get an Uncharted 4. There's this guy who leaves a comment on every single video saying, give me another Uncharted game or Uncharted 5. Like, it's crazy to me that PlayStation is making quality games, but like 3 a year or 4 a year. I want something extra good and spicy to entice us to keep logging in and bump up those active monthly user numbers. But it's interesting to me that they keep talking about wanting to fortify the sales in Japan, expand in Canada. It's still very fascinating to me that PlayStation is such a Japanese juggernaut. They're so big and wide-ranging and so expansive, but where they're most popular is in the West, here in America, or over in the UK. In fact, just now in the United Kingdom, they had their best month of sales ever for the PlayStation 5, clearly showing the fact that they're focusing their efforts, their stock, and their freaking hype on these regions, which to me is interesting to see how they can try and expand, and if they can finally try and take over Japan itself with the PlayStation bug. But I mean, let's just realize right now the biggest competitor to the PlayStation is everybody. Xbox is constantly trying to crank out more talk about Game Pass, more talk about the future of Microsoft. Microsoft is scooping up and buying some of the biggest expensive studios literally in the world, while the Nintendo Switch just keeps selling millions, if not hundreds of millions of units, because they just keep selling games that kids and adults can love. Like Pokemon Arceus selling almost 13 million units. Kirby's already at 2.1 million units in 2 weeks. Like, This thing is very, very, very popular in Japan. Everybody inside of Japan has a Nintendo Switch. I think right now Sony is trying to figure out, okay, what games can we make that everybody can love? What games can we make that'll be just as popular with kids, as adults, as it is to old people? How can we get both the businessman and the broke gamer to be hyped about our products? It still feels like Sony wants to establish itself in a way that nobody else is. But what I did find incredibly striking, and it's something I want to end the video on here, is that at the end of their Q&A, at the end of this big Sony investor call that happened at 1 a.m. last night, somebody straight up point blank asked the Sony CFO, hey, why don't we put our AAA games onto a Game Pass style subscription service? And he said straight up, I feel like it would result in a deterioration of quality due to less funds being available. I think this shows two things at once. It shows the fact that Sony does need our sales. I think that Microsoft has so many trillions of dollars backing it up that even if the Xbox has a bad month or even a bad year, they can be financially viable. Sony is in a spot right now where they do need to sell those games. They do need those pre-order numbers. They do need that hype. They do need you lining up and getting the next big, great God of War and stuff like that. They need your money to keep making games, whereas that's why they just can't make the Game Pass style subscription service. They can't financially, it sounds like, basically put their games inside of a day and date system. Now to me, I'm fine with that as it currently stands. I mean, I like PlayStation games a lot, and PlayStation games, I mean, let's face it, there's only a couple of them a year. I mean, to me, I don't mind paying the $70 price tag. I like Game Pass a lot. In fact, I'll say I like Game Pass more than the way this independent buy each game individually system works. But it's interesting that even now, Sony is straight up telling their investors, we're not going down the Game Pass route because we just can't, as it currently stands. But what do you think about all this? Are you excited for the future of PlayStation? I still think something very, very big is going to get announced this week. Typically, whenever Sony does their investor calls, right afterward, they reveal some big trailer, they reveal some big tease, they do something to basically tell the world, hey, PlayStation is on the map, come with us on an adventure. But these have just been my thoughts from an uneducated moron who read a couple books about economics 2 years ago. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please keep dreaming. And thanks again, Surfshark, for sponsoring this video. All right, I gotta go pack boxes. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.